Hello and welcome to the High Growth Equation, where we explore the formula for channel partner success. I'm your host today, Lawrence Roberts from TD SYNNEX, and in this series we're going to dive into the world of cybersecurity penetration testing. For anyone unfamiliar with penetration testing, often called pen testing, it's essentially an ethical cyber attack on your own systems. I think this is an area that's incredibly important, but often overlooked. So we're going to look into this in a bit more detail today. So security professionals will simulate attacks from a bad actor's perspective to find vulnerabilities before the real attackers do. Now, we see everywhere that cybersecurity threats are surging. 73% of corporate breaches happen by exploiting known security vulnerabilities, often in web applications. That means that many of these attacks that succeed, they succeed through gaps that might have been discovered and possibly fixed if penetration testing had been done in time. So to help unpack the value of penetration testing, I'm delighted to be joined here today by Danny Frenkel. Danny leads the business development for our Microsoft Security Business Unit here at TD SYNNEX and also co-hosts the CyberWise Guys podcast, a show all about raising cybersecurity awareness among partners and users. So, Danny, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure being with you here, Lawrence. Thank you for having me.
So, Danny, to start off then, what does penetration testing cover? And how have you seen it applied by TD SYNNEX partners who do it really well?
Some of the areas that a pen testing would cover, and obviously it always depends on the actual scope of the engagement, but some of it would be network security, web and mobile applications, cloud environments, endpoint security, identity and access control, wireless networks, and even at certain points in certain environments, even will include social engineering as well as physical security. The idea is for partners to come in and say, okay, dear customer, I've sold you certain solutions. I've helped you implement those solutions, security and non-security applications in your environment. Let's see how well they perform. And partners that actively trying to help their partners be better secured, their customers are first obviously more secured in a lower risk of cyber breaches, and basically the partner end up selling more to those partners, not just solutions but services as well, and raise themselves to be a trusted advisor for those organizations.
There's an area of the business that I have exposure, as of course you do, around the TD SYNNEX's Cyber Range. Now, the Cyber Range has a very special place in my heart because I've worked with the team there and they are just amazing what they do. I am so impressed. In fact, it's one of the areas of the organization I'd love to work at in if it wasn't I doing what I'm doing today. So I think the Cyber Range is an incredible facility that we have to really make a difference to our partners. But perhaps for the people that are watching and listening to the podcast today, could you just take a moment to explain what the Cyber Range is and perhaps what makes it unique?
Okay, so there are many cyber ranges out there, but what Cyber Range is a digital playground for cybersecurity practitioners. And what makes the TD SYNNEX Cyber so unique is that first, we are the only distributor that have a Cyber Range. And in a digital environment where they bring in customers and partners to play with, better understand how to implement and leverage those solutions against cyber attacks. What makes the TD SYNNEX Cyber Range unique is that we have security solutions from about 50 different security vendors. So if you are a customer or a partner that sells a wide variety of cybersecurity solutions, you can bring your customers or your technical team to our Cyber Range and go through anywhere between a simple presentation to a full on hand on the keyboard typing simulation where we can mimic any environment with different security vendors that all comes together to protect an organization against cyber attacks. And obviously, if you cannot make the trip, it's cloud based. You can remotely connect into that environment from your office or a central location somewhere if you want to bring your customers. What we've done in our Microsoft security environment, we usually preach to partners and asking them to preach to their customers. Always follow security best practices, and one of them is routinely run a pen testing. But we wanted to test our Microsoft environment in the cyber range to make sure that what we actually practice what we preach. And we had some interesting findings. Again, it was a very, I would say, modest engagement this time around, but we had some interesting findings, and we would love to share those with partners as they become available.
Danny, I just want to move on to the next question, if I may. I want to explore the top security concerns that you're hearing from partners today. What is it that partners are saying is keeping them up at night?
Well, there are a few of them. I think the first, many organizations today face or have customers with multi-vendor solutions. And I'm not talking about three or four or five, maybe even six. Most organizations today have close to, I would say, more than 30 different security solutions. And that creates a big risk for customers in a sense that those different solutions are not native to one another. So there are gaps in security, and maintaining and understanding and knowledge of those solutions, right, uh, is extremely tough, right? It's very hard for a small cybersecurity or IT organization within a company to maintain so many security products. Second risk is identity. Right? Many organizations do not take care of their identity, especially, I would say, across the entire organization, but especially with those high level targets. And when I say the high level target users, I mean the C levels and IT admins, for example, people that have privileged access or privileged users, what we would call so, privileged users with access to say sensitive information or have access to different systems. Those would be people that are highly targeted. And even simple things like enabling MFA to those privileged users is often looked away from, or even deliberately or actively being not deployed, because it makes the user feel that it's easier for them to do their daily tasks. So I would say those are the two main concerns that we see today.
I'm really keen, Danny, to understand from your experience, how do you think AI is impacting cybersecurity from the work you're doing with the partners?
That is a great question, and Lawrence. And obviously, AI is the hardest topic, right? If we 5 or 10 years ago, everybody talked about cloud. Now everybody is talking about AI. A lot of organizations are missing a critical part in the AI revolution, if I may call it like this, is that the data and applications must be AI ready. If you don't do that, or if organizations won't make sure that their data is properly classified, right, and is properly protected, they are exposing their data through those AI applications to the world, right, to the wild world, the wild west of the world, if you will. And yeah, that could be exposing their data, even intellectual properties and identities of users, to the outside world. So I think the first step before jumping on the AI bandwagon is to make sure that your data and your applications and your users, the identity of your users are properly classified and properly protected. So that's a key element before going ahead and implementing any type of AI solutions in your organization.
Yeah, no, thank you for explaining that, Danny. I think that makes a perfect sense. And it's one of the areas that I know we as TD SYNNEX are doing a lot of work around with our Destination AI program. So if I was to put myself in a partner's shoes and I wanted to get started with pen testing and some tools and bits
Mhm.
and pieces of support, how do I do this? Where do I start? What do I need to do?
So there are a wide variety of security service providers that have that solution. So if you're MSP and you want to help your customers, right, and you don't have the technical knowledge and the technical bench to do so, right, I would highly urge you to reach out to to your TD SYNNEX rep, and through the TD SYNNEX service org, we can offer those penetration services.
Perfect. Thank you, Danny. Lastly, I see in your background a book on your shelf there for dad jokes. What's your favorite dad joke?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to call it a dad joke because it's a true story. Years ago, I started a band called 999 Megabytes, and we haven't had a gig yet.
Very good. I think we should end on that note.
But I like coffee. So here is a coffee related joke. Um, where do birds get coffee?
I don't know. Where
Nescafe.
Oh dear. Very good. Very, very good. Excellent. Well, a hidden talent. There we go. You find all things on the high growth equation. Danny, thank you so much for your time and explaining about penetration testing to our viewers and listeners. So thank you for that.
The pleasure
Until
is
next
mine.
time,
Thank you.
folks, please feel free to join us next time on the high growth equation. In the meantime, connect with TD SYNNEX at Microsoft Ignite in San Francisco. It's held in November between the 17th and 21st. So, yeah, please come along if you're there, say hi, and we'll see you on the next episode of the High Growth Equation. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, folks.